And economists add the silver lining continues to be that Canada is not in a recession just yet.
I mean, just end that with the silver lining is that economists think Canada is not in a recession. I mean, again, you're seeing how Canada is in a recession. Even the mainstream media is admitting it now that Canada's job market is absolutely fucked and people can't find a job, especially young people. It's an absolute disaster. So let's get into what is going on here with the job market. So this tweet comes from Shazzy. Check him out because he's always posting great stuff. So economists estimated 0 added jobs in June. I wasn't joking when I said there are 0 jobs available. Let me repeat it again. 0 jobs. And the mainstream media isn't talking about it. We'll get to that in a second because even they're starting to admit it now, bizarrely. And this guy even points out, Michael here, don't forget these numbers are cooked anyway. So just imagine how bad the real numbers are. Complete carnage in Carney's Canada.
Our economy is very strong.
So let's get into this clip now from the mainstream media and talk about what's going on here.
At one of Canada's biggest malls, it's a hunt.
Just resume after resume.
For teens.
I applied to like 150 jobs and I didn't get anything.
Chasing down jobs.
It's honestly almost impossible to get a job anywhere now.
Antonio.
So what does that kind of tell you about the job market? Because if you saw the government's numbers, you would think, oh yeah, it was absolutely great. Now, first of all, I want to talk about the full-time employment growth in June because it was around 13,000 jobs. So not that much if you look here historically. But if you look at part-time jobs, it was actually near 70,000. So most of the jobs that were created in this blockbuster jobs report, which is here, were actually part-time jobs. And that's if you even believe the numbers. And if you look at the unemployment rate here, I mean, that doesn't look like it's going down to me. That just looks like it's not going up in a straight line, which is pretty much normal. But the trend is just up and up and up here. And, you know, still you're at April 2025 levels, but, you know, it was much lower last year. So the job market still just continues to get worse. And generally, it's not going to get better until you see a massive spike in unemployment, which could be coming down the pipe in Canada. So let's continue listening to this.
De Silva has been searching for months, now knowing all the summer roles might already be filled up.
Businesses as well, not opening up enough or just creating enough job opportunities for the new generation incoming.
According to the latest jobs report, unemployment for students who want to work summer jobs has climbed this year to more than 17%.
And if you just look at that number for a second, right, that looks like the most since 2009, which is, I think, what they say here. So just think about that, where the economy was in 2009, apparently in a recession. I believe that's what they say next.
Not including the first year of the pandemic. That's a number not seen since 2009 when Canada was in a recession.
This has been a brutal summer for students to look for a job. The openings are just not there.
The trade war with the U.S. getting the blame for the downturn.
Is it really the trade war with the United States? And that's always going to get the blame because it's dominating the headlines right now. But you'd expect that to actually take a while to filter in. And as we know, if you look at this chart, really, it started going up after 2023 here consistently, and into 2024 the unemployment rate was already heading up consistently. So don't believe the bullshit that you hear in the mainstream media that it's all to do with Donald Trump. It's just Donald Trump. I mean, look, blame Donald Trump. He's not releasing the Epstein files.
But I don't understand why the Jeffrey Epstein case would be of interest to anybody. It's pretty boring stuff.
But Canada's whole economy does not revolve around what tariffs Donald Trump puts on Canada, although that's what the mainstream media would lead you to believe. And that would take a lot longer to filter through into unemployment as well. And as you can see here, you can completely blow that apart by just looking at a chart of fucking unemployment. So that really doesn't wash. So what's really going on?
With many companies hit hard by U.S. tariffs on Canadian imports.
In the last few months, companies have had no idea where the economy is going. The last thing they're going to want to do is take on a few extra heads for the summer.
The border city Windsor, for example, topped all cities in Canada with an 11.2 overall unemployment.
But the interesting thing about Windsor is it's incredibly volatile for the unemployment. I mean, it's always has historically been where the unemployment is highest. And now they're going to blame this and obviously say, oh, it's because it's a border town. But during the pandemic, I was one of the people calling out the Windsor housing market because it was absolutely skyrocketing at that point, and home prices were just going up at insane levels when the unemployment rate in Windsor was one of the highest in the country. And there was no tariffs back then at that point.
Now it's $542,000. That's July 2019 to July 2021 now. 2 years later, that represents an increase of 58.3% in home values. Windsor has the highest unemployment rate in the whole of Canada right now, 11.8%.
Rate in second was Peterborough at a 10% jobless rate.
At this point, we are very much, the canary in the coal mine on the trade dispute with the U.S.
All of it leaving some economists to believe that another recession may be on its way. Companies so far appear to be playing it safe when hiring, not knowing what curveball the U.S. will throw next.
There's been some caution that employers have undertaken just because the situation could really go in multiple directions.
And economists add the silver lining continues to be that Canada is not in a recession just yet.
I mean, just end that with the silver lining is that economists think Canada is not in a recession. I mean, again, you're seeing how Canada is in a recession. You've only got to look at the increase in the unemployment rate. If you look at what happened with the population growth and exclude that from the GDP numbers, Canada would be in an official recession. If you look at GDP per capita numbers, Canada has been in a recession since 2022, heading into a near depression right now. Even productivity is declining as well, and people are just losing hope as the country essentially is in decline and collapse, and the mass immigration that has been infused into this as well has just added into another bubble that is effectively just destroying the country as well. And it's not the immigrants who are to blame for this, it is the policymakers and politicians. They would like you to blame the immigrants, but you can see they're constantly doing U-turns so much that they look dizzy when I see them come on and talk about immigration. They're like, oh, I don't know what I'm doing about immigration. Like, I was not bad about immigration a month ago, but now I'm tough on immigration. Like, I don't want it anymore. Like, it's just fucking unbelievable. And people put trust and hope in these people. I don't even need to name them. You know who these people are. And then this person also put, I believe it. I have been in Canada for 8 months as a permanent resident. No job. I have a doctorate from the US, master's from the UK, 10 years CPG experience with major multinationals. You would think that I would have gotten at least an average job. It's ridiculous here. So that is really showing you what is going on in the job market in Canada. It is a total disaster. And even the mainstream media is reporting on it now. Gen Z is facing the worst youth unemployment rate in decades. Here is how it's different. What are they going to say? It's all Donald Trump.
But I don't understand why the Jeffrey Epstein case would be of interest to anybody. It's pretty boring stuff.
No, I don't know if they say that. Let's see here. So it's bleak, said the 23-year-old graduate from the University of Calgary's Media and Communications program. She hasn't been able to find a job in her field and said she intends to pursue a master's degree. Just more debt when she can't even find a job currently. I mean, whatever, but that seems insane to me. I believe that it's just tough because that everything's happening with the economy, with our society, and with politics. She is spot on there. That is exactly what's happening. She said there's a whole lot of talk, there's a recession coming. I'm not an economist, but I can also see it as well. You see, I love that because the average person can see what these economists cannot see. It's like they are just blind, or it's like the mainstream media is just on the bankroll from the Canadian banks, so they're just never gonna come out and say it. But the reality is, people out there, they know they understand the ones who are in that job market. The ones who are currently employed are lucky, but they need to think, what is going to happen if I lose my job here? Do I have a plan B? Do I have a budget? Do I know all my expenses? Do I know all my income? Because that's just free to do. You can do it in sheets on Google, Excel, whatever. Very easy to do. You can probably do it with ChatGPT, and you can just basically build a basic budget so you know your expenses, you know your income, you know where you can cut costs if necessary. If you do lose your job and you're out of the labor market for a while and you are entering into that depression essentially, because as I've been showing on this channel now for a long time, the people who are in that are saying it's bad. And that's why I'm advising people to listen to those people, because you don't realize how close you can be to the edge sometimes. Sometimes you have a feeling, sometimes you just don't have a feeling. So it's really obvious what is going on. So even though you saw this massive increase and the mainstream media came out saying record jobs have been added, oh, this is amazing, the unemployment rate has now gone down a little bit in Canada, you know that those were mostly just part-time jobs. And you know that really the youth, the people who are looking for those jobs, who are coming out of university and college, entering the labor force, they're telling you the story of what really that Canadian job market is like. It is absolutely so that just goes to show what is going on there. Now, if you've enjoyed this video, I'd highly recommend that you check out this video here. And if you're looking for a VPN to protect your privacy, then go to ExpressVPN. It's the VPN that I have been using for years now, and it is the affiliate partner of this channel also. So buying a VPN with them also helps out the channel. So I thank you for that, and I will see you in the next one. Take care.